Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, where we talk with local entrepreneurs, share motivation, network with one another, and pick up a tip or two on how not to burn your business to the ground. I'm your host, Spencer Ward. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode. I'm solo today, so let's roll. As always, we're sponsored by New Clean Commercial Cleaning, my company. If you need any janitorial services, let us know. We can hook you up from anywhere from Twin Falls all the way down to Rexburg. We are also sponsored by Health West. Great people, great organization. Find where they're closest to you. Give them a try. All right. I'm a part of a business buying group, and I've learned a lot about private equity and what they do and what they're looking for and how they buy and how they run companies. And I like some of it, but I don't like some of it. So I want to talk a little bit about running your business like private equity, even if you hate them. So let's talk about that today. So most business owners focus on monthly profits, but private equity focus on building value. In this episode, we're going to break down how to think like an investor, not just an operator, learn the difference between profit and multiples, how to increase the value of your business, and why adopting a private equity mindset can help you grow faster, hire better, and make smarter decisions without losing your company culture. This is big. All right, here's a mindset shift for you that will either click for you or challenge you. What if you step back and looked at your business not as the owner, but like you were a private equity firm that just bought it? Okay. No emotion, no attachment, just one objective: return on investment. Nick Bradley, he's the host of the Scale Up podcast, and he's also an author. Met him, super sharp guy, great dude. He said, and he's also from the private equity world. You don't own a business, you own an asset. I like how he says it straight. Sometimes we, as business owners, we don't think of it that way. You own an asset. You don't just own a business. That's the difference. That's a different lens there. So most people are trying to make a living. Private equity is trying to build something that's actually worth something. They buy speed with talent. This is something else that I really like. Private equity doesn't sit around hoping people will just figure it out. They go get proven operators. Nick Bradley says A players hire A players. B players hire C players. So what do they do? They bring in experienced operators, strong leaders, salespeople who can actually produce. That's not a cost. That's speed. So ask yourself, where are you tolerating average? When you need something, who can elevate the entire business? These are some good questions here. Now they lead into, private equity simplifies growth into two paths: grow what you already have or acquire something that adds to it. That's it. Everything you do falls into one of those buckets. They open new locations with intention. They acquire businesses that bolt on and grow revenue faster. And they treat every new location like it's its own profit center, not just more work, a new engine for growth. And a lot of us, including me, guys, we get scared when we think about, opening another office. That terrified me. But now we have, offices in 6 or 7 cities now. And I've realized, okay, as long as we have, a standard way of doing things and running business in a certain way, it's not as scary as you think. Yet, I will say that I'm still not running it exactly like, PE would run it. So obviously there's some things I need to improve on. But let's get deeper into this, because certain things I do not want to run like PE. So private equity is known for cutting. Nick Bradley says if it doesn't create value, it's a distraction. So private equity will evaluate everything: labor, expenses, systems, and they ask, is this producing a return? If not, It gets fixed or removed. But don't take this the wrong way. This does not mean you strip your business down to nothing, because this is where private equity sometimes gets it wrong. Culture is not a waste, it's a multiplier. We've talked about culture so much on this podcast that we have to keep screaming at. Some people hear cut costs and think, okay, no team lunches, no birthday gifts, no appreciation, no culture. That's a mistake. Those things do produce a return. It's just not instant. When you invest in your people, turnover drops, morale improves, quality goes up, customers stay longer. That's real ROI, guys. So if your team feels like a number, they'll perform like a number. If they feel valued, they take ownership. So the goal isn't to be cheap, the goal is to be intentional. So what we're going to cut is waste, redundancy, and inefficiency, but keep and even double down on culture, leadership, team buy-in, because your people are what drives results. This is huge. This is so huge. And I really think private equity gets this wrong, because I've seen private equity buy companies, and then it is just they clean house. As you acquire other companies, there are going to be positions that are redundant and you're going to have to eliminate. But I think they cut way too much. They do cut out all the waste, and they see it as waste because it doesn't give them immediate return. But in the long run, it will affect their multiple, because their turnover will go up. Their customer concentration will be affected. Their customer longevity will be affected, uh, because they're not keeping track of the culture. They're kind of known for ripping the soul out of the company and just running it. So that's where I disagree with PE. This is where most people in blue collar businesses miss it. You know, we're talking about monthly profits and multiples now here. They think as long as I'm making money every month, I'm good. And that's partially true, but it's not the full picture. Monthly profit equals income. That's what hits your bank account. Let's say your business makes 20,000 a month. That's 240,000 a year. That's solid. That's how you live. Multiple equals what your business is worth. Now here's the shift. Businesses sell based on profit times a multiple. So if you make 240,000 a year at a 3x multiple, your business is worth 720,000. Now this is what we're talking about here is profit. Again, this is not just gross revenue. This is off your profit. This is that 240,000 a year is your profit. Also, you can call it as EBITDA if you want. So 720,000 a year. That's what that's worth. Same business. If it's more dialed in, better systems, stronger team, predictable revenue. Now it might sell at a 5x multiple. Now it's worth 1.2 million. Same profit, way more value. So you understand that that is a huge, I think, gap, especially in our blue collar communities throughout Idaho. Is that, yeah, even if you have no intention in selling your business, still run it as if you're trying to build your business, you know, your business worth. Don't just try to say, okay, I'm making good money and that's all that matters. No, the better systems, the stronger team, the predictable revenue, that really bolsters up what your business is worth, and that's gonna be great, because you never know when a sickness comes along, or a terminal illness, that's really going to affect your mindset of what and how you think about your business. And heaven forbid, I wish everyone the best of health and best of outcomes in their life, but things happen, and we always have to be ready. And we should always run our businesses as if we're going to sell them. Okay, so in going from 720,000 to 1.2 million is a pretty decent jump there, guys, just by tweaking some things and making things better. And it's a difference between a burger stand that's there's just one burger stand that operates and they've got good burgers. People like their burgers, but in the back of house, it's a mess. It's a mess. People don't know what they're doing. They know it, they know how to cook those burgers, but there's no system to it. Compared to like a McDonald's, I'm not saying McDonald's has the best burgers. I'm just saying if we can combine the two, what McDonald's does, if you've ever seen the show Founder, eat every burger, and I don't quote me exactly here, but every burger gets, I don't know, two pickles. They get, 3 ounces of ketchup, 2 ounces of mustard. And then a slice of cheese. So every burger is the same, and the quality is consistent across the board. That's what we have to think about as we grow our businesses. So as we get to a point that you're like, you know what, I could expand my office to a different location now and service more people. Cool. Now you have systems in place that allow you to do that. If you don't, then it seems impossible to you. But once you have systems in place that two pickles or three pickles and how many ounces of this, how many ounces of this, and it's written down and people can follow it, it becomes so much simpler. It's not easy, but it's so much simpler. Okay. So Nick Bradley says value is created in the multiple, not just the profit. That's the difference between owning a job and owning an asset. So what increases the multiple? Private equity focuses on strong leadership, not dependent on you. So that's the difference too between a little burger shop and a McDonald's. Not everything depends upon the owner or just the manager of that McDonald's. Okay, there's leadership involved. They know it. They know how to run things. And then what I always say to my team, especially my leadership team, if you can't leave on a vacation for a week or even 2 weeks, and things can't still run fairly smoothly because people know the systems of what needs to happen and who to contact in your absence, uh, then we're host here, and you're not doing a good job as a manager for our company. And I think people get that the wrong way, where they always say, I hear this so much. Well, my company couldn't run without me. I'm the manager of this company. I do everything for this company, and which is great, which is great. But how much easier would it be if you just put systems in place and dialed it in so the people below you, your employees below you, your teams below you understand what they're doing daily, nightly, uh, in if you're building, a metal roof compared to a normal, shingle roof or a membrane roof, or if you're doing a new install for as a plumber to a commercial building, uh, down to, hey, I'm changing out a faucet and drain fixtures uh, in a residential location. All of it's dialed in. All of it's, hey, step one, step two, step three, all the way down to this is how we leave the customer's locations. That makes things so much easier as you try to expand and grow and run. So strong leadership is a big one. Reoccurring, predictable revenues. Second, clean financials. We've talked about this so much, guys. Having clean financials. If you don't have good books and you don't understand your P&L, you have the wrong bookkeeper, number one, and you may have the wrong CPA. If you need suggestions on who to contact and uh, and who should be running your books and how they should be running their books, let me know, and I'll help you find someone that's someone that's going to do good work for you. Because some of these CPAs and some of these bookkeepers are no better than H&R Block, or just those. They're pretty much just looking at a preset form and like, yeah, that sounds good to me. No, make it your own. You can make that P&L your own, and make sure those you're labeling things so they make sense. Okay, clean financials, system and processes. We just talked about that. Okay, this is what private equity focuses on, and then clear growth opportunities. That's what drives value, not just working harder. Okay, you can work until your hands are bloody, your knees are shot, your back is ruined. But if you don't have systems and processes, you don't have things dialed in, it's just like you're living a life of insanity. It's insane. Like I said, even if you want to keep your business and never want to sell it, or maybe even hand it down to your son or daughter, that's fantastic. Everyone runs their business for a different reason. I could care less on what your reason is, but why not run it in a smooth way so when you do hand it down or you do sell it or maybe you die with it, I don't care. At least it's running smoothly, and you can have a life if you're the owner, and you can bring your family on vacations. You can step away for a day and go golfing. You can do some things like that without everything falling on you. And it sounds like it's like a make believe fairy tale, but it's not. There's ways you can do things to put systems in place. And I know you're going to say, hey, Spencer, you don't know. You don't understand my business. You don't understand it. There's no way I can explain how to do their certain things to my employees, my staff, whatever. And I'll come back to you. You've heard this analogy before. If the person who created the heart transplant surgery was able to hand that technology, hand that know-how down for generations. I don't know when it was invented, decades, I'm guessing now. Uh, you don't think that you can explain to your employees, your management, how to schedule your staff, how to install a certain uh, fixture, how to buckle something down correctly. You don't think you can explain that in a correct way if you just say step one, step two, 2A. If this happens, do this though. It's so. I'm guys. I'm telling you, it's so simple to do it if you just focus on it. Okay. Um. Anyways, let's go a little bit further here. Uh, they think they think in returns. Private equity isn't chasing income; they're chasing return on investment. The goal is simple: turn $1 into five over time. That's the lens. Every decision becomes, does this grow the business? Does this increase value? Does this improve efficiency? If not, it's a distraction. Okay. And what I'm saying is if they invest $1 million into something, in 5 years, they want it to be worth 5 million, or more. I don't know. But they have, you know, algorithms and calculations that they're trying to hit because they're working off other people's money and they want to show those those investors a return on their investment. And that's what you have to think is for yourself as the owner, because I know many of you and all of us have put your own money back into your business. You've reinvested profits back into your business to continue to grow it, and you should demand investment, return on investment off that money. Okay, so private equity, they move faster than you're comfortable with. Private equity operates with urgency. They don't sit on decisions; they act. Nick Bradley says constraints create clarity. When you set real targets, you stop messing around. And yeah, this kind of thinking can feel uncomfortable. That's good. That's where growth actually happens. If you're just staying in your comfort level and you're at that point, because I felt that. I've felt it before. I even feel it now sometimes. That hey, I'm making okay money. I'm have a comfortable life. Like, you know, you need to continue to leave your foot on the throttle a little bit. You don't have to floor it, but just stay engaged enough to make your company better. Put those systems in place, and then you can distance yourself a little bit. Take some time off. Do whatever you want. If you put those systems in place, you have all that freedom. So the question you need to ask yourself is, uh, look at your business like you just bought it. Ask yourself, what would I fix immediately? Who would I upgrade? What would I cut? Okay, and those two ones right there, who would I upgrade? If you knew everything you know about the person that's working for you or the people that are working for you, if you knew everything about them that you know now when you went to hire them, would you hire them again? And if the answer is no, you've got to cut that person and find a higher grade talent. Find that A talent, upgrade that C talent to an A talent. I promise you, it sounds like it's going to be a disaster, and it may be a 90-day period where you're going to be training someone, and that's okay. But I promise you, your life will get easier if you do that kind of thing. So also need to ask yourself, where would I invest to grow faster? How do I increase the multiple on this business? One question I'll ask people as I'm trying to figure out more about their business as I'm trying to maybe acquire others, and I said, if you had an unlimited budget, how would you grow your business? And that's something you could ask yourself too. What would you do, if the budget was unlimited to grow your business? There might be some crazy ones out there you might think of, but you're going to have a good handful of ideas that come to your mind that you can start trying. on the budget you already have. Okay. And then how would I increase the multiple on this business? So be honest, because you already know the answers here. These are the questions you really should be asking yourself. So you don't have to become private equity, but you should start thinking like an investor. Because when you do, you stop just working in your business, uh, and you start building something valuable, something that pays you now and then pays you later. That's how you actually win. Uh, and I know you can. I know you can do it because I can do it. I've done it. I'm trying to get better at it. And there's nothing special about me. Anyone can do this. You just got to put the elbow grease into it to do it, and be engaged enough in your business to do it. So win that way, and take a step back and ask yourself those questions. As always, guys, be grateful, be happy, and find opportunities to serve others. Have a great week. Have a great day, and we'll see you later. That's it for today's Idaho Business Podcast. Hopefully you learned something new. And if you didn't, I've got a cheat code for you. Go to theidahobusinesspodcast.com, enter your email, and get my 20 golden rules for business. It's packed with my best advice, plus it's free. Subscribe, leave a review, share this with a friend. Until next time, keep hustling, keep laughing, and keep Idaho awesome.